Okay, so what now? Apple split too. Am I going to do the same thing with Apple that I did with Tesla? No, I'm going to do something very different because I own Tesla in a qualified account and I own Apple in a non qualified account. I'm also going to look at the history of Apple and see what its movement was in the past. If I sell Apple and I'm up 60 some percent, I'm going to owe probably 30 of that to the federal government and 10 to the state government. So I'm not going to sell Apple. Let's take a better look at it. Let's go in and sit down in the office and take a look at Apple and compare what we're doing with Apple as opposed to what we did with Tesla. Apple is my third largest holding behind Tesla and Facebook. So it's important to me to react properly to the adoption of this split. The stock is going to show up substantially lower, $124.81. It will open up this morning. And again, there may be a reaction to it. And I need to know what I'm going to do prior to any reaction. I don't want a knee-jerk reaction on my part to say, oh my God, it's going up, or oh my God, it's going down. What am I going to do? I want to base my decision of what I'm going to do on hard facts and information and a clear mind. And it's Sunday, so I got a clear mind on it. Well, wouldn't I do the same thing that I'm going to do with Tesla? No, absolutely not. Tesla, I hold in a qualified account, in my IRA account. Apple, I hold in a joint account, my wife and I's account. So if I'm up about 61% on it. If I sell Apple because it maybe drops 5%, if I put a stop loss at 5% on it, I owe probably 30% of my profits to the federal government and maybe another 10% to the state government. So I could absorb a 40% drop in the price of the stock and come out with the same results. So do I think it's going to drop 40%? No. It dropped from 336 to 218 between February and March. So I don't think that Apple would drop that further than that. So my position is to hold it firm. If it goes down, would I add to my holdings? Yes, I would. And I want to reiterate something that Tim Cook said, and I did a video on it maybe a month ago. He made the statement to Jim Cramer. He said, Jim, I want you to go forward 25 years and look back and say, what is significant about Apple stock? And he said, it won't be the phone. He said, it won't be the phone. It'll be healthcare. It'll be our position of how we changed the healthcare system within the United States. Well, as a result of the coronavirus, I know there's going to be a major change in the healthcare system. I know that just like after World War II in Bretton Woods, the Allies sat down in July of 1945 and said, this can never happen again. And I know in my heart that sometime next in 2021, after this pandemic is behind us, the Allies are going to sit down, and everybody's going to sit down and say, this can never happen again. And what do we have to do to make sure that it never happens again? Well, our healthcare system is going to have to change. Our healthcare system is going to have to be driven by artificial intelligence and has to be changed from diagnosis to anticipation. We have to know that it's going to happen before it happens. We were just notified this weekend that young actor who was in Black Panther, excuse me, I can't think of his name, and he died of colon cancer. He was I believe he was in his 40s. And we're told in our lives that you don't need to be checking for colon cancer until you get up in your 60s. Well, obviously that isn't true, but I would ask you, if he had had a smart toilet in his house and if he had had his poop and his pee analyzed every day, would he have died of colon cancer? Probably not. Well, now we can't say that for sure, but probably not. So I believe that not only Apple, but Google and Amazon and Microsoft are going to be the big players in the change of our healthcare system. So I will not allow my Apple stock to be sold. And I'm not going to send 40% of my profits to the government. Now you say, okay, Kerry, you're 75 years old, going to be 76 this next weekend. What do you care? It's going to go to the government anyway. When it goes to the government, it'll go to the government under my terms. Okay, so my Apple's in a non-qualified account, and it's got a cost basis of roughly $60 a share, and I intend to keep it forever because it is going to be one of the growth stocks of the future until they tell me or do something that would tell me to sell it. But I don't think I'll probably sell it. I think I'll probably die with it. Well, what are the ramifications of that relative to being in a non-qualified account as opposed to being in a qualified account? If you pass something on, whether it's your house or it's stock, at your death, it gets a step up in basis. What does that mean? Well, right now, the basis in my Apple stock is $60, and that's split adjusted. So I'm 75 years old. I'll be 76 next weekend. With that in mind, let's say that I live, Nita and I both live, since it's in a joint account, until our 90s, and say 95. That's 20 years from now. And that Apple stock grows to, what is it now, 125 to $5,000 a share. And what is my cost basis? I think I told you, $60 a share. Well, when my children inherit it, look at the profit that's in there from $60 to $5,000. Wait a second, it gets a step up in basis. So what are the taxes they owe on the Apple stock that I bought at 60 and now is worth 5,000? None, because it gets us up a step up in basis. So when you're buying stocks, you need to have a plan. When you're selling stocks, you need to have a plan. Where are they going to end up? Where are they going to be 10 years from now, 20 years from now? That's why we buy these big six, because it doesn't matter what happens. They're going to grow, and they're going to be a part of the future. We're not worried so much, at least I'm not worried so much, what they're worth today, what they're worth tomorrow. I'm planning for the future. Not only my future, my children's future, my grandchildren's future, my great-grandchildren's future. You need to know these things. It's not all about getting in and getting out of the market. It's not all about buying penny stocks and making a little bit of money and then losing a lot of money. It's about knowing the game you're playing. You can be one hell of a quarterback, but if you can't kick a field goal, you're probably not going to win the game. You got to understand the game you're playing. Again, I'll go back to what I said. It's not what you make. It's what you get to keep. And it's not only what you get to keep, it's what your children get to keep, and your grandchildren, and your great-grandchildren. Look at the Kennedys. They haven't worked for years. And it's because Joe Kennedy knew how to manage his income and manage his taxes. And good for you if you take the time to learn it, to understand it, and stop just being a day trader. Be an investor in your life and your generations to follow's life. And you'll make a difference, not only in your life, but everybody that follows you. Learn this and become a master.